A 24-volt power supply is required to provide the power for both the control unit and the detectors. The following details how to make the power supply connection to the control unit. The power supply connection is made using a 2-core screened cable. The cable type is shown here, and in the Mk7 installation, operation, and maintenance manual. The power cable is not supplied by carrier, and may look different to the cable shown in the following slides. There are two methods to connect the power supply cable to the control unit. The first method is the quickest and easiest. But it is more difficult to check that the screen is correctly connected during routine maintenance. The second method takes more time to complete initially, but the screen connection can be quickly verified. The second method is the preferred method for connecting the power supply to the control unit. For the first method, remove the outer sheath from a suitable length of cable to reveal the inner mesh screen. Push the mesh screen back along the cable. This will loosen the screen, making it easier to cut. Cut the mesh screen close to the outer core, trimming any frayed edges. Remove the cut-off mesh screen to reveal the inner cable sheath. Remove a suitable length of the inner sheath to reveal the inner two wires. In this case the wires are identified as 1 and 2, but this may be different on the actual cable used. The glands provided with the control unit have metal prongs, which can press against the cable screen, making an electrical connection to earth via the gland and control unit enclosure. Wrap insulating tape around the cut ends of the mesh screen to prevent any loose ends shorting inside the enclosure. To connect the cable screen to earth, cut away a small section of the outer sheath, approximately 1 cm wide, and approximately 2 cm from where the outer sheath was cut. When the cable is fed through the gland, the prongs in the gland will make contact with the exposed mesh screen of the cable. This will give the electrical connection between the cable screen and earth. Feed the power supply cable through the gland on the bottom of the control unit. Tighten the gland to clamp the cable in place and maintain the IP65 seal. Connect the two wires into the power supply terminals. The power supply terminal block is fitted, with the terminals facing the gland, making it easier to connect the wires from the bottom gland. Method 2. For the second, and preferred method. After removing a suitable length of the outer sheath, carefully unwrap the exposed length of mesh screen. After separating the screen mesh, twist the strands together to form a single wire. Place insulation or heat shrink over the twisted screen wire, leaving enough exposed wire at the end to fit in the power supply terminal block. Wrap insulating tape over the end of the cut outer sheath to prevent the screen shorting inside the enclosure. Then remove a suitable length of the inner sheath to reveal the inner two wires. Feed the power supply cable through the gland on the bottom of the control unit. Tighten the gland to clamp the cable in place and maintain the IP65 seal. Connect the two wires and screen into the power supply terminals. The screen goes into the terminal marked SCN. The 24-volt power cable should be connected to a floating 24-volt power supply, and the cable screen connected to earth close to the power supply.